My journey to Iceland begins at Tampa International Airport, where I'll be catching a United Airlines flight to Washington Dulles. At Dulles, I'll board a 6-hour overnight flight on Icelandair to Keflavik, Iceland's international airport. If all goes according to plan, the flight will arrive at 6:25 a.m. local time. After landing at Keflavik Airport, I'll be catching a shuttle to Go Campers, just a few minutes away, where I'll pick up my home for the next week, a converted Fiat Doblo camper van. After that, I'll head to the Viking Longhouse in Búðardalur. Then, I'll drive 2.5 hours to the beautiful Þingmannaá Waterfall. Finally, I'll end the day on the beach at my campsite in Patreksfjörður. Alright, it is day one of my road trip across Iceland, and I am making my way to my first stop of the day. It is about 2 hours outside of Hafnarfjordur, which is a suburb of Reykjavik. I am about an hour and 20 minutes out from it. It is a traditional Icelandic longhouse. It's built out of dirt, and it's covered with sod. And I'm headed there. Should be a pretty short stop around lunchtime, and then I'm heading on to press on to the Westfjords. Got into Keflavik Airport about 6 a.m. this morning, and took a little bit of time to find the shuttle to the camper van place. Finally found it. Their instructions on the website were not that great, but finally found it. Made my way to the camper van pickup location. That took quite a while to get everything sorted. Finally was able to get the camper van picked up. Made my way up to Hafnarfjordur, which was about 30 minutes away from Keflavik, and stopped in a Netto grocery store. Picked up some groceries for at least the first few days. I don't know if it's going to last me the whole week or not, but about $70 in groceries later, and here we are. I got some Icelandic skyr, some good-looking cheesy bread, and of course the all-important Mountain Dew to try to stay awake today. I'm definitely struggling. It's been, I think, at least 24 hours since I've had a good sleep. Didn't sleep that great when I got down to Tampa. Didn't sleep a wink on the plane. So I'm definitely running on fumes here. Thankfully, I only have about 6 hours of driving today, so should be a cinch. I'm not sure who planned the itinerary, but unfortunately, a lot of driving the first day because the Westfjords was supposed to be my first stop, and in order to get up there, I have to do a little bit of driving, so I wanted to maximize the schedule and the time that I had, so that's why I ended up doing so much driving on the first day. It'll be interspersed, longer and shorter drives here and there. Gotta slow down, there's a speed camera. Iceland doesn't have too many of them, but there's a few. Anyway, I'm gonna spin you around and you can see the landscape. It's absolutely gorgeous. So the Viking Longhouse that I'm headed to is just a recreation of what they think Viking settlers lived in. Obviously, there's not a whole lot of structures from Viking days that are still standing, but it's a recreation, and there's supposed to be some people working there, kind of like interpretive people dressed up as Vikings in period costumes. So I'm excited to see it. It looked pretty cool. I don't know, like I said, I don't know that I'll be there for very long, but looking forward to checking it out.
My first stop of the day is the Viking Longhouse in Búðardalur. I'll be driving a little over 120 miles from Keflavik to reach it, a journey of around 2.5 hours. The drive from Keflavik to the Viking Longhouse in Búðardalur is absolutely breathtaking. Scenery slowly transitions from desolate volcanic rock and lava fields to soaring peaks and lush green valleys. Deep fjords and glacial rivers punctuate the landscape, carving out channels in the mountainous terrain below. While Iceland's curvy, winding roads can be fatiguing, the otherworldly landscapes outside more than make up for it. While a replica longhouse stands in Budar Dalur today, the site of the original home is one of great historical significance to Icelanders. That's because the original turf house that stood here belonged to none other than Eric the Red, famed explorer and discoverer of neighboring Greenland. Tucked away in the foothills of northern Iceland, this replica longhouse bears witness to the pioneering family that called the valley home some 1,000 years ago. The Viking Longhouse that stands in Budar Dalur today is a reconstruction of the one built by Eric the Red and his family over a millennium ago. Historians constructed this replica using only settlement-age tools, looking to archaeological records and surviving turf houses for examples. Made of interlocking turf blocks, the Longhouse is a marvel of Viking Age engineering. Built with earthquakes in mind, the turf house flexes and stretches under seismic load, rather than crumbling like a rigid structure would. The walls of the Longhouse are thick and well insulated, designed to shield its inhabitants from the harsh weather conditions outside. While rudimentary, turf construction remained popular for hundreds of years in Iceland, only falling out of favor with the advent of more modern building materials in the 19th century. My next stop is the beautiful Þingmannaá Waterfall. Located in the southern Westfjords, Þingmannaá Waterfall is around 2.5 hours away from the Viking Longhouse in Budar Dalur. The drive to Þingmannaá Waterfall is slow but beautiful. Winding fjords, mountain passes, and narrow, curvy roads turn a trip of just over 100 miles into an afternoon affair. Due to the low population density in the Westfjords and the high cost of building tunnels, most roads take the long route, going around the fjords rather than under or through. While a majority of the roads to Þingmannaá are paved, a few patches of gravel still manage to slow things down to a crawl, offering a reminder that life moves at a slower pace here. The weather in Iceland can be unpredictable. 1 minute sunshine, the next foreboding clouds and punishing rain. While these rapid changes in weather can be challenging for tourists, a little preparation can go a long way. To maximize success, it's important to check the weather forecast regularly, pack appropriate clothing, and be flexible with your plans. The good news is, bad weather rarely sticks around for long. So, instead of seeing the conditions as an inconvenience, look at them as an adventure. While the majority of Iceland's high-traffic roads are paved and in excellent condition, there are a few rougher spots to contend with. In the remote Westfjords, gravel roads and construction zones are common. While 4x4s are generally recommended for this part of the country, most vehicles can make the trip, assuming weather conditions are favorable. For safety, it's important to drive the speed limit, pay attention to road signs, and be on the lookout for detours and road closures. If conditions deteriorate, it's always best to pull over and wait it out, or seek an alternate route when possible. Located at the gateway to the Westfjords, Þingmannaá Waterfall is a quick and easy stop. With 3 cascading levels, the small waterfall is a lovely sight to behold. Fed by the Þingmannaá River, water from the falls meanders down the Þingmannadalur Valley to Vatnsfjordur Fjord below, eventually making its way to Breiðafjordur Bay. The hike up to Þingmannaá Waterfall is relatively easy, and the views afforded at the top are well worth the trip. While far from the largest or most impressive waterfall, Þingmannaá provides a lovely introduction to the Westfjords region and a little taste of what's to come. My final stop of the day is Melane's campsite, where I'll be spending the night. Situated steps away from beautiful Rauðisandur Beach, Melane's campsite is around an hour and 15 minutes away from Þingmannaá Waterfall. The trip to Melane's campsite is not for the faint of heart. Driving there requires negotiating a series of intimidating switchbacks. The road is so challenging that some locals have dubbed it the most frightening road in the Westfjords. While researching my trip, I found comments online from frightened tourists who had made the trip down the mountain. One Reddit user was so shaken by the experience, they claimed that nothing in the world would make them go back. While the drive up and down the switchbacks was quite daunting, I found that slow, attentive driving was enough to get me there in one piece. Melane's campsite is extremely unique. Nestled under the shadow of looming sea cliffs, the small campsite is situated just steps away from the famed Rauðisandur Beach. Known for its striking reddish color, Rauðisandur is one of the largest beaches in Iceland at around 10 kilometers long. While most beaches in Iceland are black, Rauðisandur gets its brilliant orange hue from crushed scallop shells. While its remote location makes it one of the lesser visited sites in the Westfjords, Rauðisandur still manages to captivate the few brave adventurers who make the long, winding trip down the mountain. Setting up camp for the night is pretty simple. All I need to do is pick a spot to park, make the bed, and cook some dinner. Then I can take some time to enjoy the incredible view from my campsite. While the trip here was lengthy and the travel day exhausting, it's easy to see why so many other campers made the long trek here. on the next episode.
I just got done camping at a beautiful beach, and I'm getting ready to go over the switchbacks to get back onto the road to